Good evening and thank you very much. I think we would commence with a definition. I would like to ask you as to what exactly is spirituality. Very often spoken word, but less defined. So, could you define it for us?
See, spirituality comes from the word spirit. And spirit is the essence of things. Whatever, it has much more wider connotations. Like in the individual person, on the surface, we have this physical body. But our sense of identity is not with the physical body, because when we were very small, a small child, it was the same I. When I grown up to this height, again it's the same I. So the body has been changing, all the cells have been changing, but the I remains the same. So that is the spirit. But we can extend this definition to even not just the individual, but to the whole world. What is this? Let's take the extreme opposite, material things.
No, but if you
What
say.
is the spirit of materialism?
Yeah, if you say, if I may intervene, if you say the spirit remains the same and physically there are changes in the dimensions, would it mean that spirituality is something restricted? Would it mean a kind of a restricted emotion or a restricted feeling? How would you like to approach spirituality? What, in your view, is spirituality?
See, when we say essence, that means that is what creates everything. Like when you water the root of a plant,
Okay.
it's the water, but then it goes into the plant and creates variety of colors. Leaves become green, flowers become more red, all that variety. But behind all that variety is some essence, the sap of the tree. No? So, like that, in any subject or in any situation, we can find the essence of that matter.
So, can we say spirituality is something related to the soul if it comes to the human being?
Yeah, in terms of human being, yes, it is related to the soul. Of course, we have to, this concept of soul is when we translate from Sanskrit to English, there are a lot of problems.
Okay,
Soul is
fine.
basically a word which has come from the Western civilization, but we'll call it consciousness, let's say.
Okay, fine. Consciousness.
Yeah.
Now, very often spirituality and religious, these two words are being used synonymously.
Yes.
Somebody is spiritually oriented or somebody is religious oriented. So these go hand in hand. Is it the same or different?
Well, as it normally happens in language, the original purpose of the word, the structure of the word is something, and over time it gets used in a completely different sense. The very meaning of the word religion is that's again, and ligare, that is to join, to connect with our innermost self. That is the purpose of religion. Okay. And that is precisely what spirituality is also. But of course, nowadays the way word religion is being used is some specific dogma, and that is definitely a hindrance to spirituality.
So, in the present context, how do you differentiate between a spiritual person and a religious person?
A spiritual person and a religious person in one aspect will be completely opposite of each other. A religious person in present context, meaning of the word religion,
in the present
will
world.
be restricted to a dogma. Okay. I believe because my teacher has said that or my book has said that. No. It will not be an open mind. A spiritual person, on the other hand, will be a completely open person, able to get any information and absorb it. And if he has to change his opinion, then he should be free to change.
So can we say openness of the mind
Precisely.
is a key indicator to spirituality?
Yeah, it's one of the keys.
Okay, fine. When we talk about the mind, I have something else to ask. We find around us there's so much of stress, especially younger individuals. And I'm a doctor, and I see people kind of resort to all kinds of activities to get relieved of stress. Yes. Now, this word is the byword today. Mm-hmm. And how do you think spirituality or being spiritual would help in relieving stress?
Yeah. See, basically, this stress, the cause of this stress is, again, disconnection from our innermost self. You know? Because what we try to imitate others. Everybody has been born as an individual, and we have our own mission in life, which is with which we are born. And if we see someone else fulfilling his mission in life and we think that I should also do the same thing, then that does not gel with me.
So does it mean
That creates stress.
comparison?
Yeah,
So
comparison.
you think comparison is the main cause for stress?
Yeah, or basically depending upon the outward sources rather than, there's a definition in Sanskrit, dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. What I should do, what I should not do, that should be decided by diving deep within ourselves and from where, whatever. And no two persons will get the same answer in the same situation. Even the same person will not get the same answer in different situations. So every time we have to connect to our deepest self and from there get the answer what I should do, what I should not do.
Okay, fine. If you have to connect your inner self, now
Mm-hmm.
please tell me, for the sake of the younger generation,
Mm-hmm.
how do we get spirituality imbibed in our daily lives? Like if I would have to connect to my inner self, how do I do it every day?
Yeah. First of all, it's very, very necessary. And also, it's the easiest thing to do. Unfortunately, again, there is so much of misunderstanding about spirituality that it must be something. First of all, people think that spirituality means you have to go away from the material world.
Okay.
You have to renounce the world, and go some difficult path. You know? Actually, spirituality means going back to the self. Going somewhere outside may be difficult, but coming back home cannot be difficult. It has to be the easiest thing. Now, there are so many techniques. Meditation techniques are also a variety of them, but the real technique which must be, which is effective, must be simple, natural, and spontaneous. And we are teaching like under the name Vedic-life meditation, which is the most, after teaching meditation, we normally ask, can you think of anything easier than that? And people are not able to give any answer.
So meditation would be the answer.
Meditation would be the answer, proper meditation.
And taken from a particular guru, or how do they get meditation into their lives? How do I get meditation? Maybe what is your recommendation? 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, or how should it be done?
First of all, not taking from a particular guru, anybody, taking a particular technique is important. Who imparts the technique is not important. Yeah? And that, as I said, again, there are misunderstandings about techniques. See, sometimes what happens is that the result of a process is misunderstood to be the cause of that process.
Okay.
Like people find that people who have been meditating, their mind becomes very focused on whatever they do with a very focused mind. So people started thinking that maybe we should practice focusing to get that result. But when we try to concentrate, naturally it requires effort. And when we try to concentrate during meditation, effort will be there and the mind will get tired. And with the tired mind, we will not be able to study better, we will not be able to do anything better. So, outside activity, we must concentrate. But during meditation, it should be a practice which does not involve any
So
concentration.
what is your recommendation of that kind of a practice? What technique would you recommend?
Yeah, I have been a student of Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, and he has taught transcendental meditation throughout the world. And there are more than 700 scientific research papers regarding this technique, which show that every area of life, whether it is health or whether it is education, whether it is intelligence quotient increasing, whether harmony in society increasing, everything is fulfilled by that. No? But it is not practice of concentration. Well, it takes about 1.5 hour session to give the theoretical and practical experience of it, because
Impact.
actually it's a experiential thing. So you cannot read it through books.
Okay.
One has to learn it step by step. And we have been teaching it in educational institutions, in police departments, all walks of life.
So, how long would one have to be meditating every day to get the benefits of it?
Normally, we recommend 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. And this, like taking a bath does not take much time, but it makes you fresh throughout the day. Like that, just diving deep, take a dip for 20 minutes, and rest of the day you do whatever you want.
Uh, may I ask you, 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening, maybe it's easier said than done. Uh, in the sense, like today, everyone is raising. They are in a competitive world and so many things to do. Many things which appear to be simple but do require a lot of time. So, an average individual does not have time for meditation. So, how do we kind of mediate here and how do we get meditation as a practice?
See, first of all, we have to understand what is expenditure and what is investment. We're thinking of expenditure of time, but investment is something that if I invest 10 rupees, after some time I'll get back 20 rupees. No? So this 20 minutes is an investment in time.
Okay.
Because if you just want to be busy without business, you can do so many things. But if you want results, yeah, then this is because if your intelligence is increased, if your creativity is increased, if your health is better, then what is the prime minister of a country? He also has 24 hours. And a person, rickshaw puller, also has 24 hours. So that does not mean that how can you get more output from the same number of hours? That is the technique of meditation.
So, that kind of leads me to think it's more of time management.
Time management becomes spontaneous. See, again, what happens is that uh, we learn through meditation to again and again come back to the self. Like when we are traveling, and we come to a crossroads, then again we check the map and then we find, okay, now I should go this. If you don't check the map, then you will travel a lot, but you'll not reach the destination.
Okay.
No? So, what do we really want in life? That is the map inside, deep inside. And every time, whatever we are doing, again, come back there and then find out what
No,
to do.
that's where we come back again. We are in a competitive world, and there's so much of peer pressure. Even if I want to do something, I look at people around me and I'm kind of forced, okay, maybe my thinking is wrong and I would have to do something else. So, how do you think spirituality or meditation would kind of wean me from that peer influence and put me on whatever right path or whatever the map says? So, how do I get there?
Yeah, right in the beginning we were talking about stress. And this is the basic cause of stress. Because what is good for some other person, we start thinking that same thing would be good for me. But that is not the case. No, we have to find out our own calling, so to say. No,
So, how do we find that?
that just by dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam, just dive deep and it is there. That is the seed out of which this tree of our body and our mind is
So,
created.
would that mean that takes me to another area if I have to dive deep? It's something kind of introspection. Would I
Yes.
call it introspection or meditation?
Well, introspection, the connotation is that you start thinking about something. No? But meditation, basically, this Vedic life meditation, is going beyond thoughts. Thoughts are nothing but waves in our consciousness. One thought comes, another goes, and like that. No? But getting to understand the water of which all these waves are, that is consciousness. Waves keep on coming and going, thoughts keep on coming and going, but consciousness remains the same.
Okay. Uh, Looking at you, I'm kind of tempted to ask this question. In the beginning, you said spirituality and materialism on the other side, they appear to be diagonally opposite areas and they are exactly uh, opposite each other. Now, many times people think that they have to renounce everything to become spiritual. And we do find instances where people left their jobs, very high paying jobs. They kind of quit a corporate position and then don the ochre robes. So, looking at your ochre robes, I'm tempted to ask, like, would you have to renounce everything to become spiritual?
Well, yes, you have to renounce something. And what you can renounce is like, suppose someone is living in a hut and somebody builds a beautiful palace for him. And he says, please go enter the palace. So he has to renounce the hut to go to the palace.
Okay.
So if that is renunciation, yes, I would recommend that. But basically, spirituality is going from smaller aims in life to bigger aim in life. Yeah? Like in charge of a district becoming a prime minister. So he has to leave the district. He has to go to Delhi.
So you're trying to say like spirituality will make any human being better
Absolutely.
and aspiring for better things.
Yes.
And in these days of stress, what is the kind of advice that you would give anyone who seeks some kind of relief from the clutches of peer pressure, from the clutches of materialistic desires, and all those that go along?
Well, first of all, materialistic desires are not any hindrance. It's the hindrance is the inability to fulfill those desires. If I want something, if I want to be rich, and if I know how to become rich, there's not a problem. No. So uh, and water the root and enjoy the fruit.
Okay.
If you throughout the day you are constantly thinking about enjoying the fruits and looking at the tree, and you forget to water the root, after some time the fruits will not come. Yeah? So all you have to do is 20 minutes morning, 20 minutes evening, enjoy the root of our own life.
So it's some kind of prudent moderation.
Absolutely. In fact, I want to even say moderation, because you can, your desires can be even increased if your capacity to fulfill those desires increases. Yeah. Of course, negative desires is a different thing
So
that has been.
one last question. I think the session is about to close. How do we inculcate spirituality or the thoughts of spirituality in a person who's just about 15 or 16? Whatever, like, leave all those small desires, go for big desires, is someone who's mature enough to understand. But then the youth, how do we inculcate?
In fact, talking about something does not create the effect. Uh, uh, the in fact, my audience, typical audience, is these kind of people.
Okay.
Schools, 15-year, 16-year-old students, because they are interested, they have a whole life in front of them, and they want to progress fast. And we tell them a simple technique, and we say, okay, do you want more marks in examinations? Yes. This is a scientific research which has been done over thousands of schools, that 20 minutes morning and evening. No, typically the experiment is that if you have a class, you divide it randomly into two portions, 25, 25. And one group you give coaching for that much time, and another group you ask them to meditate. And after 3 months, when the next exam is there, then the people who had been meditating, their average marks are much more than the other group.
So it's being scientifically proven.
Absolutely. There are 700 scientific research papers, and not just ordinary magazine, most reputed scientific journals like Harvard. The first was.
But then what happens to the group that did not get into meditation? A group
No,
which
after 3 months, they automatically,
Exchange them.
they exchange. They also learn it. Yeah. This is just to prove something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes in the morning and 20
20
minutes in the
minutes
evening
morning,
is
20
your...
minutes evening, it will reduce your cholesterol and all the negative problems. It will increase your intelligence quotient. Not more important than IQ is creativity. IQ is only to understand what the teacher is saying. But if you have to create something from yourself, then creativity is needed.
That instigates me just half a minute. Now, you said something about IQ, but then we have something called emotional quotient.
Yes.
So, what is the effect of spirituality or spiritual practices on EQ?
And also on top of that, there's a SQ, spiritual quotient also. So all three would increase because the source is spirituality. Next level, see, we have physical body, then thinking level, then feeling level, and the deepest is being level. If you are at the being level, then feeling and thinking automatically improve.
Okay. So EQ and SQ will increase to increase IQ. Do we have the equation that
Yeah,
way?
SQ is the essence. If you have SQ, automatically EQ and IQ will increase.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I suppose that's wonderful. Wonderful talking to you. Wonderful talking about spirituality and, trying to experience the feeling of what has been told.
There's a saying, proof of the pudding is in eating it. Whatever, howsoever much we talk about meditation, it's the first experience within the first 10 minutes of the teaching practice. And particularly, I think we have a big educational institution here. The best would be to let the students experience it.
So, probably we shall recommend a session of meditation in the next edition of ThinkEDU. Thank you very much.